There comes a moment in life when everything seems to fall apart. The dreams you built with passion begin to shatter. The path you walked with confidence turns into a dead end, and the people you trusted the most start fading away. You feel broken, lost, and hopeless. It feels as if life has crushed you under its weight, leaving you with no strength to stand back up. Maybe you've experienced failure after giving your best, or heartbreak after trusting someone deeply. Maybe you've lost someone you loved, or faced rejection so painful that it shattered your confidence. In such moments, a voice inside you whispers, "Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I should just give up." But listen closely, because this is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of something extraordinary. The greatest transformations happen when life breaks you. Diamonds are formed under extreme pressure, and the strongest warriors are forged in the toughest battles. You are not alone in this struggle. Every successful person you admire has faced moments of complete despair, yet they chose to rise. What if I told you that this breaking point could be the best thing that ever happened to you? What if, instead of breaking you, life is actually preparing you for something greater? In this video, we will dive deep into the moments when life breaks you, and how you can rise from the ashes stronger than ever before. Life has a way of testing us in ways we never expect. One moment, you're on top of the world, full of hope and excitement for the future, and the next, everything comes crashing down. It can be the loss of a dream, a devastating failure, a betrayal, or a painful rejection. No matter how strong we think we are, there comes a time when we all feel completely broken. The pain of being broken isn't just emotional, it affects every part of you. It makes you question your worth, your decisions, and your purpose. You wonder if you'll ever recover, if you'll ever feel happiness again. And the hardest part? The world keeps moving forward as if nothing happened. You feel stuck, lost in a storm that no one else seems to notice. But here's the truth, being broken is not the end. It is a turning point. Some of the greatest figures in history, the most inspiring leaders, the most successful entrepreneurs, and the strongest individuals have all faced moments when life completely shattered them. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay defeated lies in how they respond to their breaking point. You see, pain has a purpose. Every hardship carries a lesson, every failure hides an opportunity, and every heartbreak can become a new beginning. It's not about avoiding pain, it's about using it as fuel to rebuild yourself into someone even stronger. Think of a seed buried deep in the ground. In the darkness, it seems lifeless, trapped beneath the soil. But what happens when it starts to break? That break is the beginning of something beautiful. The seed transforms, pushing through the dirt, reaching for the sunlight, and growing into something far greater than it once was. In this video, we will explore powerful stories of individuals who faced devastating moments, yet refused to stay broken. We will uncover the mindset shifts that turn pain into power, and how you, too, can rise even when life breaks you. Because the truth is, you are stronger than you think. Your story is not over. The next chapter is waiting to be written. And it starts now. There was a man who once had it all: wealth, success, and a thriving business. He was known for his brilliance, his ambition, and his ability to turn ideas into reality. But then, life broke him. A financial crisis hit, and overnight, he lost everything. His business collapsed, his bank account was empty, and the people who once praised him disappeared. He was left with nothing but debt, failure, and an overwhelming sense of shame. The world moved on, but he was stuck in the ruins of his shattered dreams. For months, he struggled with despair. He questioned himself, wondering if he had wasted his life. There were nights when he couldn't sleep, days when he couldn't face the world. But one day, as he sat in a small, dimly lit room, staring at the remains of what was once his empire, he had a realization: this is not how my story will end. Instead of drowning in self-pity, he made a choice. He decided to rebuild, not just his business, but himself. He studied his failures, learned from his mistakes, and started again, this time, stronger and wiser. He worked tirelessly, without resources, without support, and without guarantees. Years later, he didn't just recover, he built something even bigger, something even greater than before. His new business became a multi-billion-dollar empire, respected worldwide. But more than that, he became a man who understood the true meaning of resilience. Life will break you, but it is up to you whether you stay broken or rise again. Failure is not the end. It is a lesson, a test of how much you are willing to fight for your dreams. The world may give up on you, but if you refuse to give up on yourself, you will come back stronger than ever. The question is, when life breaks you, will you let it destroy you, or will you use it to rebuild yourself into something even greater? The choice is yours. There was a boy who had big dreams. He wanted to make his parents proud, do something great in life, and prove himself to the world. But when he failed his 10th grade exams, his dream shattered in an instant. His friends moved ahead, his relatives mocked him, and society labeled him a failure. The shame was unbearable. His parents were heartbroken, and everywhere he went, people reminded him of his failure. It felt like his life was over before it had even begun. For days, he locked himself in his room, drowning in disappointment. He thought about quitting, about running away from the expectations of the world. But then, one day, something changed. As he sat in silence, he asked himself, "Does one failure decide my whole future? Or can I fight back?" Instead of giving up, he made a decision. He would not let this failure define him. He picked up his books again, but this time, he didn't just study to pass. He studied to learn, to grow, and to become something extraordinary. He worked harder than ever before, pushing himself beyond his limits. The next year, he didn't just pass, he topped his school. And that was just the beginning. He continued to work hard, pushing past every challenge. Years later, the same boy who was once labeled a failure became a world-renowned scientist, whose inventions changed millions of lives. That boy was Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the missile man of India and the 11th president of the country. The lesson: failure is not the end. It is a test of how much you believe in yourself. The world may call you a failure, but their words don't define you. Only you can decide whether to stay down or rise again. Every great success story begins with failure. So the next time life breaks you, remember, it's not about how hard you fall, it's about how strong you rise. There was a man who had a dream, to start his own business and create something meaningful. But life had different plans for him. He was an ordinary man with no special connections, no wealth, and no support. The only thing he had was a simple chicken recipe that he believed could change his life. With nothing but confidence in his idea, he went from one restaurant to another, offering his recipe and asking for a partnership. But what happened next was soul-crushing. Not 1, not 10, not 100, he was rejected 1,009 times. Every time, he heard the same words. "It won't work. People won't like it. You should give up." Most people would have quit after the first few rejections. But this man refused to give up. He kept going, knocking on doors, facing rejection after rejection, until one day, after 1,010 tries, someone finally said yes. That one yes changed everything. His small business turned into Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC, one of the biggest fast food chains in the world. And the man who was once rejected over 1,000 times? He became Colonel Harlan Sanders, a billionaire and a global icon. The most shocking part? He didn't even start KFC until he was 65 years old. Rejection is not failure, it is redirection. Life will test your patience, your belief, and your resilience. People will doubt you, criticize you, and tell you that you are not good enough. But if you keep going, you will find your yes. Colonel Sanders proved that age, rejection, and failure don't matter. What matters is your persistence. So, when life breaks you, remember this: success is on the other side of one more try. There was a boy who loved to run. He dreamed of becoming a great athlete, of winning medals, and making history. But at the age of 8, something happened that changed his life forever. He was diagnosed with an eye disease that left him completely blind. His world turned dark. People told him his dreams were over. A blind boy can never be an athlete, they said. Accept your fate and move on. But this boy refused to listen. He didn't see blindness as a weakness. He saw it as a challenge. Instead of giving up, he trained harder than ever before. He ran with his heart, feeling the ground beneath his feet, trusting his instincts, and pushing his body beyond its limits. Years later, the same boy, Marla Runyon, became the first legally blind person to qualify for the Olympics. He didn't just compete. He finished among the top 8 in the 1,500-meter race at the Sydney 2000 Olympics. He proved that disabilities are only in the mind. Life will take things away from you. It will throw obstacles in your path and tell you that you can't. But the truth is, you decide what's possible. Marla Runyon didn't let blindness define him, and neither should you let your struggles define you. The real power is not in what you can or can't see, it's in what you believe. So when life breaks you, remember, your limits are only as strong as you allow them to be. There was a man who had nothing, no home, no job, and no support. His wife left him, taking their son with her, and he found himself sleeping on the streets, struggling to survive. Each day was a battle. He had no money for food, no place to stay, and no one to turn to. People looked at him with pity, some with disgust. But he refused to let his situation define him. Despite being homeless, he still had one thing: his dream. He wanted to become successful, to give his son the life he never had. So he made a decision: no matter how hard it gets, I will never give up. With nothing but a dream, he started working as an unpaid intern at a stock brokerage firm. He spent his nights sleeping in public restrooms, train stations, and homeless shelters. He had no security, no comfort, just pure determination. For a whole year, he worked harder than anyone else, learning everything he could. And then, one day, his hard work paid off. He was offered a full-time job, and from there, he never looked back. That man was Chris Gardner, whose story inspired the movie The Pursuit of Happiness, starring Will Smith. Today, he is a multimillionaire, a motivational speaker, and a living example of how unbreakable the human spirit can be. Life will knock you down, strip you of everything, and push you to the edge. But you are not defeated until you decide to quit. Chris Gardner had every reason to give up, but he chose to fight. He proved that your current situation is not your final destination. So, when life breaks you, remember, as long as you refuse to quit, you are still in the game. There was a little girl who loved to run, jump, and play like any other child. But one day, tragedy struck. At the age of 4, she was diagnosed with polio, a disease that left her unable to walk. The doctors told her mother, "Your daughter will never walk again." Her world shattered. Other children ran freely, but she could only watch from her wheelchair. People pitied her, some even called her helpless. But deep inside, she refused to believe it. One day, she made a decision. "I will walk again." Her mother supported her, massaging her legs every day, encouraging her to try. Despite unbearable pain, she forced herself to move, step by step. Years of struggle, tears, and failures followed. But she never stopped trying. At age 12, something unbelievable happened. She walked for the first time. But she didn't stop there. She started running. She trained harder than anyone else. And by the age of 20, the same girl who was once told she would never walk won 3 Olympic gold medals in sprinting. Her name was Wilma Rudolph, and she became one of the fastest women in the world. People will tell you what you can't do. They will set limits on your life. But the truth is, only you decide what's possible. Wilma Rudolph could have accepted her fate, but she chose to fight. She proved that no obstacle is greater than the human spirit. So when life breaks you, remember, you are stronger than your pain. Your struggles can make you unstoppable. If a glass and a diamond fall to the ground, the glass shatters, but the diamond remains unbroken. Life will test you with challenges, but how you respond defines your strength. Weak people break under pressure, while strong people endure. A diamond withstands pressure because it is the hardest substance on earth. Likewise, when life tries to break you, become a diamond, strong, unbreakable, and valuable. Every hardship is shaping you into something greater. So, don't be like glass that shatters. Be like a diamond that shines even after the hardest falls. Example: the more you stretch a rubber band, the stronger it snaps back. Life stretches you, tests your patience, and pushes your limits. But remember, just like a rubber band, the more you are stretched, the greater your potential to bounce back with force. The struggles you face today are preparing you for a stronger comeback tomorrow. Growth comes from pressure, and resilience comes from challenges. Instead of fearing difficulties, embrace them. Each setback is simply setting you up for a powerful leap forward. The key is to not break, but to use tension as fuel for your comeback. An arrow can only move forward when pulled back. If life is pulling you back with problems, rejection, or failures, it only means you are about to shoot forward. Just like an arrow needs tension to launch, you need struggles to grow stronger. Many successful people were once held back by difficulties, but instead of giving up, they used those moments to propel themselves further. So, when you feel life dragging you down, remind yourself that it is preparing you for something greater. Keep your focus, aim high, and when the time comes, let go and fly toward your dreams. A seed is buried in darkness before it grows into a strong tree. Sometimes, life puts you in dark and difficult places. You may feel buried under stress, failures, or hopelessness. But remember, just like a seed needs to be buried before it grows, your struggles are preparing you for something big. Growth happens in darkness before you rise into the light. The pain you feel today is the strength you will have tomorrow. Stay patient, keep pushing forward, and soon you will see yourself growing stronger, just like a tree standing tall after surviving the storm. The true strength of a tea bag is revealed only when placed in hot water. Small blue diamond explanation: difficult situations reveal your true character. Just like tea releases its best flavor in hot water, you discover your inner strength during tough times. If everything was easy, you would never know how strong you truly are. Challenges are not there to break you but to bring out your best. Instead of fearing problems, embrace them as opportunities for growth. The hotter the water, the stronger the tea. Just like the bigger the challenge, the stronger you become. Stay strong, because struggles are only shaping you into the best version of yourself. A broken pencil can still write if it is sharpened again. Life will break you down at times, but that doesn't mean your purpose is over. Just like a pencil that gets dull and needs sharpening, you also need to sharpen your skills, mindset, and determination. Failure is just a lesson, not the end. Each time you fall, get back up, learn, and grow stronger. The more you sharpen yourself through experience, the more valuable you become. So, if you ever feel broken, remember, your story is not over. Pick yourself up, sharpen your skills, and keep writing your success. Electricity only flows when there is resistance in the circuit. Small blue diamond explanation: many people see struggles as obstacles, but in reality, resistance creates power. Just as electrical resistance is necessary for current to flow, the challenges in your life are necessary for growth. If everything were easy, there would be no real progress. The most powerful people in the world have faced the most resistance in their journey. Instead of fearing difficulties, understand that they are fueling your success. Keep moving forward, because the energy you generate from your struggles will light up your future. Gold becomes pure only after going through fire. When gold is placed in fire, impurities are burned away, making it more valuable. Similarly, life's difficulties are refining you, removing weaknesses, and making you stronger. You may feel like the heat is unbearable, but the truth is, it is only making you shine brighter. Instead of complaining about hardships, embrace them. Every great person has gone through their own fire of struggles before emerging stronger. Remember, the fire is not there to destroy you, it is there to make you unstoppable. Water seems soft and weak, but over time, it can break even the hardest rock. Strength is not always about force, it is about persistence. Life's difficulties may seem like unbreakable rocks in your path, but if you keep pushing forward like water, you will eventually carve your way through. Success does not come from one big effort, but from consistent small actions. Even if progress seems slow, keep going. The greatest achievements in history were made by people who refused to stop. Be like water, adaptable, persistent, and powerful enough to shape your own destiny. A butterfly must struggle to break free from its cocoon, or it will never be able to fly. If you help a butterfly escape its cocoon, it will never develop the strength to fly. Likewise, if life were always easy, you would never grow strong. Every struggle you face is building your resilience, making you stronger for the future. Embrace your challenges, because they are preparing you for flight. The struggle is not a punishment, it is your training for greatness. So, when life feels tough, remind yourself, this is just your cocoon phase. Keep pushing, because soon, you will spread your wings and fly. These real-life examples show that struggles are not the end, they are the beginning of something greater. Which example resonated with you the most? Life is not easy. It will test you, break you, and sometimes push you to the edge where you feel like giving up. But remember, broken things can be rebuilt, and shattered pieces can be put back together, stronger than before. Every great person in history has faced failures, setbacks, and heartbreaks. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up is simple. The ones who rise again never let their struggles define them. Think about a diamond. It is formed under extreme pressure. Think about gold. It is purified through fire. Think about a seed. It must be buried in darkness before it grows into a mighty tree. Every hardship you face is shaping you into something greater. When life knocks you down, don't stay down. Take every failure as a lesson, every rejection as redirection, and every pain as fuel to move forward. The world is not kind to the weak, but it respects those who refuse to surrender. The storm may be strong, but so are you. Keep pushing, keep growing, and keep fighting for the life you deserve. Your story is not over. It's just getting started. Rise, rebuild, and become unstoppable.